Well, good morning, Codge Biker here. Look at me on my DCT. By the seaside, which feels low compared to what I'm used to. So here I am on a NT1100 by Honda, and I've just decided I'm going to put the screen up and try to, there you go, going to go on 4 of 5, try to. So there we are, DCT NT1100, and I have to say feels very light, which is amazing because it weighs 1/4 ton. Can I do a U-turn on a big bike like this? Blimey, it is actually surprisingly manoeuvrable. Of course, the usual problem with the Honda indicators, that we'll get used to it, the horn there, indicators there. So currently I'm just in drive because it's a DCT bike, and as usual with that, it will go into 6th gear very quickly. But it is a very good system. So here we are, going on a bit of a tour on a touring bike, and I'll just give you my feelings as I go along. This is a 50, cruise control on, set. So I've got cruise control set, knock it down, we're in a 50, there we go, set to 50, beautiful, nice heated grips, turn it off, back to manual. Adjust the DCT to Sport 2, and it'll hold the gear a bit better. Right, I'm just going to head out of town, and I'll tell you what I think as we go. So let's have a feel for comfort. The seat's nice and comfortable, but it does feel to me as though the pegs are high up. So I think actually if I had this bike I might want a higher seat. Just coming off my bike, which is more or less 900mm tall with low pegs, this has got higher pegs, a lower seat, so it does feel a bit more of a squat, and you're leaning forward just a tiny bit, not enough to be uncomfortable in any way, shape or form, but it's a little bit more further forward than I would have expected, but it's quite a comfortable place. Right, we're into the 70, let's go. Well, the mirrors are quite large compared to my bar end mirrors. Obviously there's a little bit of vibration as you open it up, but you can see perfectly behind. Do I like them? Not particularly, but they're sort of standard fare. Just turn the heated grips up, I think. Function button, heated grips, up to 5. Got a fuel gauge on 2 bars, so let's hope I've got enough to get where I'm going. I think this is quite an economical bike. Yeah, I think the bike holds 20 litres and claims to do 250 miles on that, so hopefully I have enough to do the 50 miles I want to do today. Let's find out. Yeah, of course I am doing the usual of pulling the clutch and looking for the gear lever that don't exist, but you get used to it. It doesn't take long. For what is a big heavy bike, it's very flickable, turns in easily. I guess that's the 17-inch wheels on it. Okay, so there's quite a lot of switchgear here, and it does look a little bit intimidating when you first get on it, but I talked to the salesman and he's quite right. I think that, well, there you get used to it as you would with anything, but quite a lot of the things are one touch buttons that once they're set up, or once you know what they are, you don't have to go through the menu. Okay, so can I touch the ground? Yes. 5'10" in my boots, I've got both my feet flat footed, and it doesn't feel like it's going to fall over at all. Leaning it over, the weight's very low centre of gravity on it. Actually it feels quite good. Choose neutral. In fact, I'll just try it. Parking brake on, neutral. Parking brake off, drive. It seems to remember what sport mode you've got it in. I've held it for sport mode 3, sport mode 1, yeah, holding, and it remembers. So if I go back to neutral, go back to drive and go to sport mode, it's remembered that it was in that sport mode. That's very good. It seems to remember what you've set it to. So in sport mode 2, that's good. Now I think this bike comes with panniers and a top box. I've asked to have those taken off. I just got the bare bike. Yeah, so as somebody who's had a DCT Africa Twin before, I did find that it's not really for me, to be honest. I prefer manual changing, but on a bike like this, which is designed for touring, I'm going to go on a little tour. Look, it's probably not going to be a bad thing. Going through little villages. Now if I was to put it into to drive, I know it would probably go up to 6th gear very quickly. In fact, I'll do that. Look, drive, very easy to change things. So I'm in drive and it's already 30 miles an hour, it's going to 5th gear. Look, which I don't like, which is one of the reasons why I don't like DCT. Is it short shifts too quickly for me. But if I put it into sport mode, DCT sport mode 2, then it's a lot more as though I was selecting the gear. You can manually change gear. There's second, there's fourth, so you can manually change easily, and it doesn't mind doing it, and then it will revert back to its DCT. Very similar to my car actually, it's got paddles on it. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy the ride. Some beautiful countryside from Wales, lovely Honda, toasty warm hands, heated grips working well. Now I know one of the things you can adjust, and I don't know how to do it, is you can change the engine braking, because the engine braking feels quite sharp if I close on that, which I don't mind, but it could feel a bit jerky, and I think you can adjust that in the menu. I'm not going to bother doing that. The way it's set at the moment, if I close the throttle, it does feel like you put the front brake on a little bit, but I quite like that. So it's a touring bike, let's do some touring. Ooh, hurrah! What a lovely day, and what a lovely bike. It is very easy to ride. Such a light, flickable bike. The engine brake is a tad harsh, I think, so I'd probably adjust that if I knew how. I know you can, I just don't know how to do it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Just adjusted and put myself into DCT Sport Mode 3, see how that goes. Yeah, so in usual Honda fashion, the front indicators are on all the time as sort of additional daytime running lights. You've got LED lights at the front, LED lights at the back. I think the lights are very modern. Not sure I'm excited about the styling of the bike, to be honest. But it does run very smoothly. Beautiful, look at that. We're touring on a DCT. Heated grips are lovely and warm. The screen I've got on 4 at the moment, I think if I just went up to 5, because I'm still looking over the top of it, it would get rid of all the wind. There's just a little hint of a draft. I'm wearing a helmet with a visor, but I'm not getting buffeted at all, not at these speeds anyway. So when I pull over to have a look at the bike, I will adjust the screen up to its maximum. Good morning. So we've got a main screen and we've got wind deflectors. We've got lovely Welsh countryside. And I'm in DCT Sport 3, which I think is the best for me. I like that. You still get a bit of judder when you open her up because it's in 5th gear, when probably the manual I'd be in 4th. I can put it down to 4th up manually. That feels better. 3rd even. The bike does go. I mean, it's got some go in it. But I suppose if you're just cruising and relaxing, DCT is not all that bad. Cruise control's easy to use, and I can knock it up, I think. Knock it up and down, 55. Probably can't see that as a good indication there. And then press it again, turn it off. So for touring on a beautiful road like this, I have to say, it's very good. I do like it. And with the 17-inch wheels, this is probably a better Africa Twin for most people than the Africa Twin. It looks great from here. I'm just not sure about it from the front on looks, but it's a bit scooter looking. But that could be a good thing, because I always think scooters have a bigger sort of light profile. They're more easily seen than a lot of motorbikes. Just my thinking. You can disagree. Right, I'm going to just pull over here, have a little look at it. So, indicators off, side stand down, parking brake on, and it instantly went into neutral, so that's interesting. Just the screen, seem to have to pull it quite hard, so that's the screen on maximum now. You can see what I mean about the front looking scooter-like, but it's probably a good profile. There's your front profile with your LEDs and your indicators, so quite a big presence at the front, which is good. As usual in most modern bikes, short mud guard chucking mud straight up the radiator, so I'd extend that. It's a heavy bike, it weighs more or less 250 kilograms with the DCT, but I'm amazed by how easy it is to manoeuvre. The weight must be very low. There's no bash guard or anything, but there is some sort of under tray, plastic, protecting the oil filter and things, so, and there's not much ground clearance. So it's definitely, you know, not an off-road bike, but then a lot of people are not like me. They buy these bikes and stay on the road. Well, let's face it, most of us probably belong. Well, let's do a bit more riding. So I'll put the screen on the highest, and I've changed to urban mode. So, urban. Let's see if that makes any difference. Engage. Sport mode 3. So far I've got on well with the indicators. Side stands up. Brakes off. Let's go. Yeah, the indicators is that's better. The indicators is a very short throw on the switch. They don't move very far, but I've got on with them fine today. So I'm in urban mode now. DCT Sport Mode 3. The engine braking has been reduced, I think, on that. Maybe my imagination, but it seems to be holding on to the gears a bit better. So let's give that a try. A RAF. So I've got the screen up fully, and I've got my helmet open, and there's just a little bit of wind coming past, no turbulence at all. And even on its highest setting, I'm looking over the top of it. I don't like to look through a screen. But even in Sport 3, look, DCT Sport 3, I'm in 6th gear. Whereas I'd probably be in 5th if I was choosing myself, which I can do, look, 5th. Put it into auto manual. You can press the button here and it's in manual then. I can choose myself then what I want to ride in. So now I'm not in DCT mode as such, auto mode, I'm in manual mode. 4th gear, a few revs. I quite like the where the upshift is though. It's better than my old DCT, which was up on the top. This one's sort of like a trigger on your trigger finger, your left hand. It's quite good. That's probably more usable, I think, than the old version of it, to go into manual mode. Quite good, but we're touring, so let's go back to automatic and look at the lovely countryside. Of course, roadworks. You don't see that very often, somebody with a sign. Now look, I didn't have to put my feet down there, it's so well balanced. Heated grips are nice. The grips feel very thin. Not sure why. There's a reasonable warmth from them though. They're not quite Oxford heated grips high standard, but they are very nice. Press that button. Go down to 4 on the heated grips. In terms of the rear brake, the brakes, the front brake feels good. The rear brake is a bit puny, I think. In fact, it seems to stop better with the engine braking than it does with the rear brake. But I might be being a bit unfair. I'll give that a proper try in a minute. I'm touring on a touring adventure bike. There's a touring adventure tourer, touring adventure, touring. It's not a sports tourer. Touring bike. Touring through Welsh villages. Look at this. Now generally on a bike this heavy, where I know I'm going into quite hilly districts, I'd be a little bit concerned about the slope and things. It doesn't have hill start control or anything, but I've really not got any qualms about it at all. The only qualms I've got is my hips, whether they'll unfold in time. But it's brilliant. It's very good. The scenery. We are on tour. Could go over that bridge, but I'm going to go this way today. So I'm in urban and DCT Sport 3. I can change mode just by pressing on the up button. Tour. So I'm on tour, urban, rain, and 2 user defined modes, which I'm not going to worry about. So I'm just going to go back into tour for a bit and see whether I prefer that to urban. One thing I can tell you is the Honda NT1100 is a lovely way to see Wales, and Wales is lovely. For once, even the sunshine has come out for me. I did think that I would find the Honda switchgear too annoying, but it's actually okay. It wouldn't put me off. I'm not a technical Luddite, but also I like things to just work easily when I'm out and about, particularly on a motorcycle. Don't want to be looking at too many buttons. But I found it, even after just a few minutes, quite manageable. So although it looks a little bit overwhelming, it actually works quite well. Yeah, so I'm in a bubble of calm here. If I just lift my head up, I can feel some wind, but it's going over the top of my head. There's nothing on my actual helmet really. I've also got these two wind deflectors here, which is keeping the wind off my hands, which is quite good. So all the way around here, I mean, if I put my hand there, I can feel the wind, but there's a bubble of calm. So what don't I like on it? Well, one of the things that I can't believe I'm about to say is that I feel that the seat's too low for me, which is ridiculous, because I think this has got the comfort seat on it, which is about 825 mils. But because the weight of the bike is so low, it's like a Weeble. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall over or anything. I do feel that I could sit a bit higher, or at least if I could lower the foot pegs. For me, that sort of foot peg to seat is a little bit cramped. But that's because I've come off a very tall bike with low foot pegs, I think, and I've got achy hips. I have achy hips anyway. If you don't have achy hips, it's just fine. But my legs are a little bit more than that 90-degree bend. A little bit less than that 90-degree bend, should I say. RAF really holds its turn in the bends, look. Turns in fairly quickly, but you can hold it in the curves. That's the 17-inch wheels. I'm not used to those. It is quite nice not to have to worry about changing gears when they're on a road like this, or I don't know where I'm going properly. Betusikoid. I hope I've said that properly. I was taught how to say it by a Welsh colleague many years ago. Betusikoid. Because where I come from, we always call it Betsy Coed, and that doesn't go down well. By and large, you don't notice it change gear. I did notice it then go from second to third, I think because I was going uphill. Lovely place. So when you come to a stop, look, slowly down, slowly down. I still haven't put my foot down yet. Stopping, stopping, stopping. It's so balanced. That is, yeah, very good. Oh, it is a heavy bike, but certainly well balanced. Also, I can get my feet completely flat either side, poking out. It's going nowhere. I think I will have to pull in and get some fuel. Could put the parking brake on and put it into neutral. I'm sitting here, that holds it. So I'll put the parking brake on, put it into neutral. He said it's not a super powerful brake, but it's enough for this. Quite relaxing. Right, parking brake off, drive, go. One thing I do like about DCT in the city in particular is you ain't stalling at the lights. It feels, coming off the 690, it feels like it's got a huge frontage to it, but in the bends, due to the weight and the tyres, it just feels planted. Very nice, that. I do like that. On the twisties, DCT Sport 3 Tour mode. That's nice. No need to touch the brakes, just use engine braking. Oh, I do like this. There is Snowdon. Hello Mount Snowdon. Wolfgang isn't here today, just me. Hello. Well, I can tell you one thing, with the screen and the deflectors and the heater grips, it's so much more warm than my 690 Enduro R, even with all the extras I've got on it. It's comfortable. Morning, morning, right. You can change the traction control as well, apparently. He did tell me, I can't remember what it was. Is that the Star? Yeah, the Star. So, traction control 3 I'm in now. Pressing the Star changes the traction control. That's quite good. Don't really need it on a day like today. Bottleneck at Capel Currig. Bottleneck at Capel Currig. Neil Morris is an N-head. Road closed. It is lovely and flickable. I mean, I've just done a turnaround on there, which on the 690 I'd be a little bit cautious about, but no, it's lovely. So this is Capel Currig, that's Snowdonia. We've had a little tour there, so what I'm going to do now is going to get some fuel. A garage I saw a few miles back this way, I hope I make it, and then I'll get back to you. Gives you a lot of confidence, this bike. Have I said that already? But you know, I've just come out of that garage there on a hill, heavy bike, and just flicked it round, turning circles a lot better than you'd think. Oh, just did the old Honda toot the horn instead of hit the indicator. That's standard on Hondas. Look at the waterfall. Right, so yeah, I'm getting to like this bike, must admit. I like all bikes, of course. Has its limitations, a little bit jerky on the engine braking. It does come with quite a lot of equipment though, because you get the panniers and the rack, I think, and most of the other stuff on it. You ain't going to stall on a hill. That's a hill start. Easy. So simple. I think if I had one, as I say, I'd like a slightly taller seat and maybe bring the bars a little bit closer to me and it'd be perfect. Really enjoying it. As I say, I'm not sure about the looks. I think one thing that is wrong with it, and it's not offered as an option, sorry Honda, but why isn't there a red one? It'd be nice to think that in the 2023 model there'll be a red one. The heater grips go off when you stop. I've just turned them back on again. That doesn't seem to remember to turn those on. Same as my bike, it's a little bit annoying. I wish they'd stay on. Oxford heater grips remember whether they were on or not when you start the bike. Oh, look at that. Tree houses. Adventuring. Tree houses. Adventuring. Sheep in the environment. If you press backwards, you can go back. Look, you don't have to go forward. I was just going one way with the selector. If you go up and down, turn quickly. So that's urban. There's somebody. Hello, I'm touring. You're touring. We're touring. I've got no problem at all with any of the switchgear, which I was a little bit apprehensive about. It's fine, there's no problems at all with that. So don't let that put you off. A lot of them are just one-touch buttons, so in a way it's good. You don't have to search through menus as much, and I'm sure there's a lot of adaptability in custom buttons and user modes and things like that if you wanted to really get into it. So I'm going to come off here and I'm going to use the indicators to go left, and I'm not going to cancel them. Let's see what happens. So going left, still on. gone off. A lot of people don't like self-cancelling indicators, but I really like them. Self-cancelling indicators, yes please, they're very good. I do like those. Suspension is plush. It calls it long travel suspension, but it's not the kind of suspension you'd get on a Africa Twin. It's adjustable for preload, I think, only front and back. But I've not felt any bumps at all, and I think what it means is it's long travel for this kind of bike, 150 mils, something like that. You can check the specs. I'm just telling you what it feels like. Quite plush. There's the bike. Big old fella, but very, very nimble on his feet. That's what I would say about that bike. I actually liked it so much better than I expected. I'm amazed. And on that note, Codge Biker is out. Nice rumble. It's actually got quite a nice sound to it.